I was summoned to my grandmother's house. The house was located on the other side of the city and a long journey by bus. Besides, I had to cancel one of my tuition classes that were important to me. My mother's text message was vague but sounded very urgent. I expected it must be an important get together. I made the journey without asking what the event was for or why so short a notice. My family and extended family loved parties. Birthday parties were common considering the many members of the clan. I arrived at the courtyard leading to my grandmother's enormous house. It was in a very well-to-do suburbs, with upstairs and downstairs and an immaculate garden maintained by my grandfather. I had always admired his talent. My grandfather had a sense of a qualified landscape designer. I have often helped my grandfather. I was surprised not to see my grandfather repairing his garden today. As I approached the entrance door, I could hear strange murmurs, soft whispers, and intervals of a loud burst of wailings. I thought, there goes my grandmother with her television in full blast, screening one of her favorite drama series. She was hard of hearing. I now was at the doorstep. I could not hear much of normal excitement, nor the loud cheers, nor the multi conversations that echoed from the party attendees. As I entered the room, it looked devoid of any signs of celebration. It was rather dull with dim lights, and their air seemed somewhat unwelcoming. As I entered the house, with my face beaming with the full expectation of a good time, my dad came straight to me and stood motionless in front of me. His eyes were droopy and reddish. Was he swimming? My dad said nothing, but just stared at me. Why the tears? This man who stood in front of me had never shown me this side of his feelings before. My dad then awkwardly hugged me. I looked around and I was hoping to see my grandfather, who would be the first to greet me, as I was his most favorite among many the grandchildren. It was always interesting, as he had some bygone stories to attach any celebration the family undertook. He was not seen today. Where is my grandfather? I pondered while I gazed over the many sad faces across the room. I saw all my cousins with their families sitting around in most corners of the dark room with their head drooped, not looking about nor telling stories which was customary to share with much excitement. My cousins would normally come running to me to hear stories about my sports achievements or about my scholarships. They too seemed disinterested. There was me alone in the center of the room, as if a large, oversized shadow had engulfed my presence. I did not understand their gaze. Where is my mother then? She was not seen among the males of the family, as she always would mingle, since my mother is a great host at parties. The moment we're in another room separated from the males, I went in search of her. My mother sat on the floor, dressed in black, and it was hard to search her among the many other women surrounding her. Being in the center, the many hands reached out to calm my mother, as if automated. I soon learned that the loud wailing I heard from the entrance door was hers. The crying sound dawned on me. I was at a party of a very somber kind, an unexpected funeral party. My grandfather has passed away. I broke down with uncontrollable tears. I was in that state for what seemed many hours until my mother hugged me without another word. By then, I had understood the reason for my visit.